Hey everyone, welcome to the Ex-Wives Lounge. I'm so excited to have my guest. She's truly, truly a good friend, someone that I've really gotten to know. We share the same loves. I get to go to her wedding in January. I'm so excited. Miss Amanda Barelli. She's a functional health coach, nutritionist, all the above. Hi, Amanda.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
Thanks for coming in.
I'm so excited to be here.
So excited to have you.
Having me on here. That means a lot.
Well, I feel like you're that one person that I turn to a lot for health and wellness questions.
Well, I'd like to think that I know a good amount about it.
Believe in yourself, girl.
I do. I was kind of mean.
I believe in you. So I think, the biggest thing that I thought about when I was creating the podcast is when you're going through a traumatic experience, I know for me personally, health and wellness was my zen. Absolutely. The thing that helped me get through all the difficult moments, the dark moments.
Yeah.
During that time when women experience that, and I know you've probably come into contact with women that have gone through it.
Absolutely.
Overeating.
Yes.
Over drinking.
Yes.
Try to fill that void.
Absolutely.
So when you have someone come to you that says, Amanda, I need to get in shape. It's going to help me mentally. It's going to help me physically. What are my first steps to get on that right path to whether it's losing weight, gaining muscle, whatever it is, just to help her come out of a traumatic experience and propel her into a healthy situation?
Right. I think the biggest thing, and we were just kind of talking about this, is that women forget how to take care of themselves. They're so used to taking care of others, like their kids, their boyfriend, being all these different roles, and they might have a job too, so they work, and they forget how to eat clean, work out, make time for themselves. It's shocking, actually, so many clients that I work with. And so, believe it or not, I tell people to start slow because changing so many habits at one time can be completely overwhelming for 100%. These people.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing, I think, especially coming out of, a divorce, a breakup, a traumatic, emotionally abusive relationship, whatever it is, I feel like the nervous system is completely dysregulated. Oh, yeah. So, just like the basics of getting your body to calm down, teaching yourself stress management, not just jumping into, holy crap, I have to work out harder. I need to eat less. I need to do all these things, because that's actually going to increase the stress response and increase cortisol in the body and make it worse. So I think that my best advice for that is starting super slow, starting with the stress management. And then even if they aren't exercising, start walking outside every day, getting steps in, getting outside, doing something that brings them joy every day, even playing tennis or pickleball or, being active with their kids and running around. So getting used to that activity. And then say that they are at the gym, not getting carried away, but getting on a good workout program. I find that so many women fall into the trap of, oh, this is sexy, I'm going to skip around and I'm going to do Orange Theory and I'm in F45 and all these different HIIT classes. And then their body doesn't actually change. Because they're not on a structured workout plan. I mean, I got to tell my clients all the time, it's going to be a little bit boring. I mean, my clients beg me to get off plans after 4 to 6 weeks, but I ask them, are your glutes growing? Are you seeing results? Do you feel stronger? And they're like, yes. And I go, okay, so it's working. So let's start with a structured plan. So there's that part of it. And then there's also the nutrition part of things, right? I mean, I think when people are stressed out, they reach for food. They 100%. Reach for alcohol. I mean, one of the biggest things I see with my clients is emotional eating and reaching for, substances, whether it be weed or alcohol or things that aren't good, just to give them that source of comfort or that dopamine hit, that they're constantly seeking, because your nervous system is completely dysregulated.
You're in that fight or flight.
So I think that the biggest thing too is just starting with not pulling food from yourself, but just eating healthy, balanced diet, focusing on protein, focusing on fiber, focusing on those things, and then sleep. Sleep is so important because that helps your nervous system calm down, your hormones be helpful. And so again, starting slow, but focusing on one thing at a time and then building on that.
And I think a lot of times too, people we live in a society where they want a quick fix.
Oh.
And they want the change in their body to happen now.
Yeah, now yesterday.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I think sometimes a lot of women get very disenchanted if they don't see results right out of the gate.
Oh, yeah. I mean, with me, as with my job and what I do, I tell people, give me 3 months.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing is going to be accomplished in 1 month. Right. I can't undo years worth of whatever was going on in your body, your metabolism, in 1 month. And I know that trust me, I love quick fixes too. I want results now, yesterday.
Yes.
But you kind of have to have that patience, and then it's consistency, time over time. And that's what pays off with the results.
Right.
But it's not going to be the quick fix.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you have a lot of people come to you too that struggle with like meal prepping? Meal planning.
Yes.
I know when I trained for a little bit of time, I had a lot of my clients that wanted me to come into their home and actually raid their pantries.
Yep.
And I'm glad I did. In the moment, I'm like, no, you need to be doing this.
Wait a second.
This is for you to figure out,
Yeah.
But then I think it was so helpful and constructive for them, for me to explain, these are things you don't need in here.
Right. Well, I think, for me, right, it comes so easy. I'm like, well, you just eat this.
Right, because it's your lifestyle.
Yeah. Because it's my lifestyle. And I feel like even I've always been a little bit aware that way. Mm-hmm. But so many of my clients have no idea or awareness of, I don't even know what to prep.
Right.
What do I even do?
Right.
And I keep it simple, with a lot of different things. And I don't go, hey, you have to eat organic all in one. It has to be this. It has to be this. Because that's
it's restrictive,
right, and very overwhelming for somebody who has no idea.
Exactly.
No idea.
Now, if you have a fitness background,
right,
like you and I do,
right,
to us it's like nothing,
right.
But to someone who has no idea where to begin, it's baby steps.
It is 1,000% baby steps, and you have to meet somebody where they're at.
Yeah,
and that's what's going to make them, again, more successful. So starting with something as simple as, hey, how many meals did you eat today? Did you eat breakfast? Because shocking, most people.
So many people
skip and drink coffee.
Yes.
And they're like, I'm intermittent fasting. But that's actually not how you're supposed to do
how you're supposed to do it.
Mm-hmm. And I think people get completely caught up in that.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are some high soluble fiber, protein enriched breakfast options that you would suggest to, let's say she's a single mom, she's on the go, and she's looking for that solid thing that's going to not only be high in protein,
right,
whatever she needs in the moment to hold her over until lunch or her next snack.
Right. Some of my go-tos that I like to tell my clients to do, it just depends on, I'll sometimes tell them a protein smoothie.
Okay.
Depending if they are a grab and go kind of person. It's super easy to put a protein shake together with fruit. You put chia seeds in there. That helps with your fiber content. It helps with a little bit of fat, and you can make it pretty calorically dense based on what you put in it. And it's always like an easy go-to option.
Right.
I like overnight oats. I think
overnight oats.
That is a great way to, if you like sweet things in the morning, but you're getting your protein, your fat, your carbs, a good balance across the board.
Right.
It's going to be satiating because oatmeal has fiber in it. Sometimes I put a banana in it, so that helps. I really like avocado toast, and I think people get scared away by this, but if you're having a controlled piece and you're putting, you're measuring things out, and putting avocado on top with some egg whites or eggs, super balanced, and drizzle a little bit of honey on top. So you're having something that is good, but also that's going to hold you over for a period of time. I also really like doing eggs, avocado, and fruit. I think that is another good, easy option.
Right.
Again, none of this stuff is complicated.
Right.
It's
pretty
grab
simple.
and go. It's pretty simple. Mm-hmm. I try to have my clients, again, get creative a little bit too in what they have. And depending on, are they an on-the-go person? Do they need to grab and go? What can be easy? They can make their own egg white bites at home. Right. Or so many people do this where they grab food out. I'm like, if you are going to Starbucks, you could do the egg white bites. Are they my favorite? It wouldn't be my first choice, but if you're grabbing something, have that, but balance it out, like put something with like the little oatmeal cup, but don't put the sugar in it, or grab a piece of fruit with it. So you're like carbs, protein, a little bit of fat, mixed in together.
Makes total sense. Are you big on meal prepping with your clients?
Yes, I am big on being prepared because I feel like when you fail to prepare, plan to fail kind of thing, because you're just going to wing it. And most people are not going to be reaching for the healthy options.
The right stuff.
I even go as far as to tell my clients, I'm like, even if you meal prep, like put it in the containers that you're actually going to eat for the next day, because then you can just grab it. Not even if you work from home and you know that you can go into the refrigerator and you have time to do it. Even I, who work from home part of the time, I don't do that. I have to kind of measure that out so that it's easier for me, because otherwise, oh, I'm not hungry, I'm going to skip. Or maybe I'm going to reach for some dark chocolate instead.
Right.
You know?
No, it's very true.
Yeah. So I think that being completely prepared is helpful for people being successful.
Well, and what have you seen results wise for women that are either trying to lose weight or they're, whatever their personal story or reason is on why they have you come into their lives and get them into shape and get them feeling their ultimate best? What have you noticed with them in regards to mindset? Because I almost feel like as a personal trainer, you're not only just there to get them in shape and make them look good and feel good, but you're also like a therapist.
Yes. That is my third job. I am a part-time therapist.
Yes. So it's like that mind-body connection.
Yeah.
And how does that play into your job with your clientele? If you see them struggling a little mentally, do you see them pull themselves out of the darkness when they start seeing results physically?
Yes. I feel like sabotage is a thing. When people start seeing results, they almost self-sabotage. Right. Oh, well, I've been clean for a week, so I'm going to reward myself with this.
Yes.
Or, they feel like they're not seeing results quick enough, so they get the F-its.
Yes.
I'm going to just eat whatever. I see that actually more often than anything, because again, it's about the quick fix.
Yes.
And, we look at our bodies and we stare at ourselves over and over and over again. You're not going to notice that sheet or the layer coming off.
Right.
I explain this as the toilet paper roll example.
I love that.
You never notice that the toilet paper is like the sheets coming off, and then you
until
look,
it's completely
and
gone.
Then the toilet paper is completely gone. You're like, wait, what happened?
Yes.
It's the same with people's bodies. They don't notice that they're actually making progress. And this is why I make them take progress pictures.
I was going to ask you, are you big on progress pictures?
Yes, because the scale sucks.
Yeah.
It lies.
I've never been a big fan of the scale.
No, it sucks.
Plus, I think it messes with your head too.
1,000%.
You're so hyper focused on that number instead of how are you feeling? Right. Are your pants fitting a little looser?
Yes.
Let's not hyper focus on the scale.
Exactly.
It's a detriment in my mind.
It could be inflammation. It could be, did you poop that day?
Right. No, it's very true.
Are your hormones active? Did you eat too much sodium? Or like, did you leg work out the day before?
Yes.
All these things are going to affect the scale. In fact, I looked at a client's progress photos today. She looks great, but she's up 3 pounds.
Is she freaking out about that?
Freaking out.
But it's from muscle.
But it's muscle.
Yeah, it's not fat.
And then she just told me later in that same phone conversation, oh, I got my in-body back. I gained 3 pounds of muscle. I really like biofeedback. How's your energy? How are you sleeping? How's your gut? How are you pooping? These are all really important factors when you're trying to lose weight too. It's not just about, okay, how much working out did I do and how much did I eat today?
Right. Well, and I think you and I are around the same age, and we don't need to drop that number because they always say, don't bring up a woman's age. So we're not doing that. We'll let you guys guess how old we are.
Exactly.
Go look that up. Go spend your day looking that up.
I feel 25. So I'm going,
I definitely don't feel that young, girl. I feel 30, but I'm close.
It's all about
That's
how
close.
you feel. So,
yes. Yeah. But when you get to be a certain age as a woman, you start dealing with the perimenopause, you start dealing with the menopause. And I'm assuming with that comes water retention.
Yes.
And water weight.
Water weight. I mean, you also have to remember, your hormones are dropping out. They're shifting and changing. And your body does all these weird things when you start going through perimenopause. And that's 5 to 10 to even maybe 15 years before you actually go through
the actual menopause. Yes.
Yeah. So your body's shifting around, making changes. I mean, so many different factors.
I'm finding more and more grays. And I'm one of those people that sits in the mirror and like finds them and then plucks them out.
see, I used to be like that, but then when you start to get a lot, then you're
like when your root totally goes gray.
I'm just gonna keep doing this enough so that I never see how many grays.
Totally.
Like, I just keep going. I've upped the amount of times that I go get my roots done just so I don't see that.
See, I think I'm gonna have to start doing that, because the minute I see 1 or 2 pop in and I'm plucking them,
like, nope.
I mean, my daughter's like, Mom, what are you doing in there? Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, no big deal. Just plucking my grays.
I'm just crying and as I'm plucking out my grays.
Well, and let's be honest, living in Orange County, California, we're living around beautiful people. There is some societal pressures of you got to look a certain way and you got to stay young. And there's all of that. And I think a lot of women put that pressure on ourselves when we're looking at celebrities, when we're looking in magazines. I got to look like that.
Yeah. I mean, this area, it is beautiful people. I mean, it's Orange County, it's LA area. Even you travel outside this area or outside this bubble, it's very different.
It is very different.
Very different. I look at people that are my age elsewhere, and I'm going, oh my God, is that what I look like? Oh my goodness, they're my age.
I know.
Crap. But we put so much pressure.
Unnecessary pressure.
Yes. And I think we play that comparison game.
100%.
And that's like the comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, no, it really is.
Because it's hard when people look so good. They take such good care of their bodies. I mean, just even going to our gym, you look around, everybody, there's a lot of fit women in there.
A lot of fit women.
They look great. And
Amazing.
They're putting in the effort. And I got into a conversation with an older lady at the gym, and she's just like, she came up and she said, you look great. Which, first off, I said, thank you for being a woman that builds up another woman.
100%. Because that's very rare nowadays.
So rare.
And I don't understand why.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I've never been one of those females.
No.
When I first met you.
Yes.
And I said, did you used to go to, an old gym that you and I both used to go to?
Yes.
And I even said to you, you were like my girl crush in the gym. I always looked at you and was in awe of the amount of time you put into your body, the amount of dedication you put into your body.
Well,
and I think people take it as being something superficial, and it's not. It takes dedication. It takes a lot of work, especially as women get older.
As women,
it does. It's extra hard.
It's hard, but also as females, we internalize so much, and we're in our head so much. So to have that female give you
like a hype woman,
that actually makes my day more than if a guy came up to
100%.
me. That means nothing.
No, it's so
true.
I
hate to say, I mean, my fiance, obviously that means something when he says something. Yeah. But
there's an exception to the rule.
It's exception to the rule. But a girl, you're like, oh, because you know how much effort.
You believe it.
Yes.
You believe it when a female comes up to you and goes, hey, you look amazing. Or, hey, your hair, what are you doing to your hair?
Oh, yeah.
Your arms. I mean, I know that's the first thing I said about you. I was like, Amanda, I want your arms so bad. How do you get those amazing biceps?
Oh, my gosh.
But when you have a female come up to you, there's this sense of like, wow, where you believe it.
Yeah.
But if a guy says it to you, you're like, how many women did you just get done saying that to?
Or you're like, whatever. That doesn't mean anything to me. Yeah. So, I mean, again, we are so in our head. We play the comparison game. It does get harder as we get older.
Yes.
It sucks.
And then you throw kids into the mix.
Yes.
After I had my daughter, I was like, okay, things aren't as tight as they used to be. And, and trust me, like I've put in the work, I've put in the time. I'm happy with where I'm at. Obviously, you can always be better, but that's with anything in life. And for me, I think my journey now is all about wanting to figure out how I can handle my hormones and, sustain my muscle mass, which is also harder for me. So what are some good suggestions that you would say in regards to sustaining muscle density and mass?
Well, here's the big thing. I think, we're talking about this perimenopause.
Right.
And again, that can be anywhere from 35-ish and up, right?
Now, is that based off genetics when a woman starts going through that?
Yes. I mean, usually with menopause, you follow suit with kind of what your mother
went through.
Now, perimenopause, I think it's just, I don't know if it's necessarily genetic.
Okay.
But your body will start to experience irregular periods, your mood swings. You just start having wonky fatigue, brain fog, and you're like, what the heck is going on with my body?
Right.
It's like,
yes,
wait a second here. And you feel a little crazy, and you'll go to the doctor too. And the doctor will be like, well, your blood work looks fine. And so then you start second guessing if you're crazy.
Totally.
But anyways, to keep muscle, I think it's important as we age. We do have to, one, weight train.
Right.
It's not about...
And there's a lot of women that are afraid of that.
They're so scared of getting
I don't want to look like a man. I don't want to...
bulky.
But they miss... Like, that's such a misconception about weight training.
A huge misconception. Because I feel like I lift really heavy.
I try to, too.
And I actually... I mean, I would not consider myself to be a bulky person.
You're very lean with muscle.
But... just because you lift heavy doesn't mean that you're going to get bulky. And I think that most women don't even eat enough to put on muscle in the first place. They don't lift heavy enough or follow progressive overload or do any of those things. And kind of like I mentioned at the beginning, if you want to put on muscle and have that awesome body, you kind of have to be repetitive and boring, and
eat more,
and eat more. And so many people are scared of that.
I know.
And I think that's what works against them.
Totally.
And so eating less and training more in a perimenopause state is going to make things so much worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
So much worse. But I would say, okay, look, weight training. And then also I think checking your hormones. Yeah. I think having an awareness of where your hormones are sitting at when you're in your 30s and 40s is so important. Because, hey, if you don't have testosterone, one, you're going to feel like crap. Right. And two, you're not going to be building any muscle.
Right.
If your estrogen is super low, you're going to have a harder time building glutes. Right. You're going to feel crappy, you know? So your body needs a good balance of hormones. And so checking your hormones, if you do need support, adding in possibly HRT. I think...
What is that? Just to viewers that don't know.
So hormone replacement therapy. So that would be more like, I've seen a lot of women add in testosterone. I will disclose that I take testosterone myself. I used to always have really great levels for myself. And then I noticed about maybe a year ago, it tanked.
Okay.
And guess what can make that tank? Stress. Overtraining, not sleeping, not eating appropriately can dramatically drop your testosterone levels. And it doesn't make you feel good. No. So I added it in. It made a huge difference in my mood, even just keeping me more even through the day. I feel like it's much easier for me to build muscle, to keep muscle. Right. It supports sex drive, libido, all those different things. So I think that's important. If your progesterone is low, you are going to feel major anxiety. Right. Not calm at all. So
on edge.
On edge. Yeah. I mean, estrogen's important for your hair growth, like for a lot of different things, even like building muscle as well. Like you need a good balance of all your hormones. So I think, again, having an awareness, checking them, and then if you need HRT support, there's nothing wrong with that. But if people are scared of that, or in addition to, you can add in peptides. I'm a huge
That's what I wanted to talk to you about today. What is a peptide, and do you take it orally? Is it injectable? Is it both?
It's both, depending on what the peptide that you're taking, right? So peptides are amino acid chains, right? So consider them like little messengers telling your body what to do. So it's like, okay, let's decrease inflammation. Let's have some fat loss. Let's help anti-aging. So they're like little messengers that go out to your body.
Got it.
So I actually have a lot of my clients on a lot of different peptides.
You do?
I love them. I think that they're so great in application when you cycle them. And it's not something that you're going to put yourself on and then stay on over and over and over. You kind of cycle different ones.
Okay.
And I find
can your body plateau from them? Is that why?
I feel like they lose their luster.
Got it.
Just like with training and with anything, I think even supplements, you got to change it up. Yeah. Like your body gets used to certain things. And so by doing a cycle, and I think for health reasons too, certain ones you probably shouldn't cycle for more than 3 months, you know, just depending on, and this is case dependent on what you're taking it for. There's literally a peptide for everything.
That's amazing.
Everything. Like I'm not even kidding you. So, some of the ones, I'll tell you some of the ones that I use for, like for fat loss, for muscle. One of the ones I like is CJC 1295 plus ipamorelin mix.
Okay.
It's great for anti-aging.
Okay.
It's they're going to be growth hormone agonists, meaning so it helps your body produce natural growth hormone. So without like adding more to, it's just helping your body increase what it already has.
So it's causing your body to produce it.
Yes.
Because so as we age, the production of certain things decreases.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's not like you're putting something into your body that is foreign.
Yes.
Your body's already producing it, but underproducing it.
Yes. And so it's, when I say that, it's like, again, it's stimulating growth hormone production in your body without being like, say, growth hormone, which is taking over.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
So it's anti-aging. It's great for fat loss and muscle building. I've seen really great results with my clients running a like 3-month cycle of that. There is BPC-157, which is amazing for helping with inflammation.
Okay.
Great for joint, wound, muscle healing, like all those different things. So I love it for that. It's great for your gut.
Okay.
So it's going to help with like IBS, IBD, you know, acid reflux. It calms your gut down. It's super anti-inflammatory. I love that one. What are the other ones I use? Oh, I like SLU PP337.
Okay.
So it's an estrogen receptor. So it works on estrogen receptor sites, and it's going to kind of almost, it's an exercise mimetic.
Okay.
So it's going to help increase your metabolism. It helps like with your insulin sensitivity as well. And it has anti-inflammatory properties. But I do find that my clients have been able to stay a lot leaner, and their metabolism is a lot more flexible when they're taking it. So I have probably 4 female clients on it right now, and I really love that.
How often do they have to take it?
So again, I run like a 3-month cycle of it. And this one is an oral peptide.
Okay.
It's an oral. I think they also do make injectable. I'm not quite sure on that, but it's oral, and I take it once a day.
Once a day?
Once a day.
Do you take it with a meal?
You're supposed to take it fasted in the morning, first thing, and it kind of ramps up your metabolism.
Your body going. Okay.
Gosh, there's so many more. I mean, there's the copper one, so it's GHKCU, and that's going to help anti-aging, with wrinkles, with hair growth.
Girl, bring it on.
With inflammation.
I'm signing up for that one.
I know. So a lot of people cycle the BPC-157 and copper. I mean, a lot of these places have mixes and blends that you can put all these together. Gosh, I mean,
do you have to sit down with an actual physician?
Well, I would suggest that you do, and not just blindly, oh, I'm going to try this, and not have any awareness of what you're supposed to be taking. Correct. So I always steer my clients to a certain place.
Got it. That specializes
in say, HRT, peptide therapy, so that they know what they're doing. It's overseen, and you know you're getting quality peptides.
Right.
Sometimes online, you don't really know what you're getting.
Are peptides looked at by the FDA?
You know, some of them are, and some of them are not. So I think some of them try to fine line. Like that SLUPP one is still being studied.
Okay.
But it's the new hot trend. People are jumping on these different
because of the results that they're seeing.
Then also the GLP-1 peptides.
Yeah.
You know, they get a lot of hate. You know, people think that they're the easy button. But I think they're great in application and used appropriately. I think that they can majorly help women, especially in perimenopause, when their metabolism
starts shutting down.
Yeah, it stops. It's almost like hitting a metabolic reset and controlling insulin resistance. Right. You know, getting your body back into a good place. But you have to pair that with a healthy diet. Right. Eating enough protein.
It's not supposed to be used as a quick fix.
No.
It has to be integrated into already a very healthy, functional lifestyle.
And weight training, because I think that one of their big hates that they get on it is people lose too much muscle on it. And that's because they're not eating. They're not being smart. Right. Because the side effect is you're not hungry. Right. But I also think it can be really great for people that have emotional eating problems because it severs that connection between food and...
So does it suppress?
It suppresses your appetite.
Okay.
It definitely does. And this is where I tell all my clients, I go, listen, I don't care. You have to eat. Yeah. Eat small meals. And I just, because it slows gastric emptying, right? It, there can be side effects in which you're like nauseous or some, you know, diarrhea or like constipation, because again, it slows things down. Right. But at the same time, if you're using it appropriately, you're not overdosing yourself, you're exercising, you're eating fiber, I think that they're massively helpful.
Now, there have been some critics.
There's a lot of critics.
There's a lot of critics about it.
I mean, there's so much hate for them.
A lot.
And this is where, be educated, obviously, but, there's so many, I've seen so many women and men benefit from taking it that, yes, if you look at the small percentage of which, where that 1% that gets that symptom of, gosh, what are they saying? Blindness and
bowel blockages.
Yes,
that's been like the number one.
That's a big one.
I actually knew somebody that got a bowel blockage from it.
I think that's, I've actually known somebody too, and it's because they went to a health spa that dosed them way too high, way too fast.
Okay.
And their body never adjusted.
What do they base your dosage off?
Well, there's a loading dose. There's a loading dose, and that's why you're supposed to stay on each dose for 4 weeks before you actually increase and go to the next one.
Okay.
So, if you're going to, say, a med spa and they're saying go up to the starting dose, people are really sensitive.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to start them. So I tell people that are going to start that peptide to actually start lower
and work their way up.
And work their way up, assess symptoms.
Right.
See how they feel, stay on it.
Track everything.
I also try to make sure, are you pooping every day?
Right.
Are you able to eat? And then, we assess all those symptoms. So if you are going to use one of those, you should have oversight.
Yeah.
I wouldn't tell somebody to use that blindly. It's not an easy button.
Right.
But they're fantastic if used appropriately.
Yeah. See. Yeah, I just heard, I think the biggest thing I heard, well, and then I also heard too that if you go off of them and your body's used to it, you can gain all that weight back.
Yes.
Is that true?
So yes, it can happen, but I see it more with people that don't create a healthy lifestyle. They use it as an easy button. And I've seen a lot of women, because again, we're in Orange County.
Right.
So all the med spas started having it, and they're like...
Med spas are a big thing out here.
Yes, they're huge.
Yeah.
But you can kind of see that Ozempic face that people talk about, or that their butt starts to go because that they're just not eating.
Right.
And yes, if you don't eat long enough, you're going to lose weight. Right. But again, you need to have a healthy eating plan where you're eating normally, because then when you come off, you're just on a normal, healthy eating plan.
Right.
I've had clients wean themselves down and be on we work their calories up before they come off of it. And then, we'll take it down slowly, just like we took it up.
Right.
And then maybe even leaving a small, microdose in so that they have it just there.
Right.
I find that works the best.
That's smart.
So
I feel like that should be with anything, right?
Of course. But again, anything in excess or anything... Again, if you're using it for extreme, is not going to be healthy for you. Even exercise extreme is not going to be healthy.
Because there could be people that are definitely fitness addicted, right?
Oh, yeah.
It is an addiction.
It is an addiction
to an extent,
and that is another problem that I end up running into with the clients too, where they get too addicted to it, where it becomes their whole identity or their stress relief. It can't be everything.
Correct.
It can't be your stress relief, your therapy, your this. You have to have other coping mechanisms. Otherwise, you're going to hurt yourself.
Yes.
And I've done it to myself. I actually worked
I think
myself
we're all guilty of it.
Into an autoimmune by that, know? So, yeah, you can definitely cause harm with too much.
I think the biggest thing that I want you to talk about too is your fitness journey.
Oh my
because
gosh.
I know that you used to do CrossFit competitions.
CrossFit, yes.
How did you get into fitness?
Well, I've been an athlete, I would say, a good portion of my life.
Okay.
I started playing tennis when I was in grade school. Loosely, I started to pick it up and get more serious about it in high school.
Right.
I played tennis in high school on the tennis team. And I decided I didn't want to do that. So I started working out, weight training, working with a trainer. And then I got into cross country.
Okay.
And track. I actually had a really bad eating disorder when I was in high school.
Okay.
Really bad. Super bad anorexia. We were talking, I'm 5'9.5". I think I got all the way down to 98 pounds.
Oh, wow. Amanda.
I was a bag of bones. I mean, how my parents didn't hospitalize me is shocking. So that kind of leads me to, okay, I worked with a nutritionist to get back on track.
Right.
And the way that they had me feed back up was not healthy.
Right.
They had me eating these big ice creams and things to put calories in my body
on your bones.
But guess what? For somebody who's messed up in the head, that taught me how to be bulimic.
Right.
So then I worked my way into that. Was an athlete through college, ran cross country and track.
Wow.
I did that my first 2 years, stopped, became a exercise instructor at 24 Hour Fitness, LA Fitness, Epicenter, all over the place. I mean, any gym.
You name it, you worked there?
Yes, I worked there. I taught, I think at one point, I was teaching 15 spin classes a week. On top
Holy
of
smokes, woman.
On top of running, working out. Talk about overtraining at its finest.
Seriously.
While being in a bad relationship and then having this eating disorder, overtraining, you know. So I was not teaching myself good things. Then I found CrossFit. CrossFit
did it
saved me from my eating disorder. That got rid of the bulimia. You know, I started to eat to fuel my body because I wanted to be strong. I wanted to be competitive. And I thank CrossFit for saving me from that because it was amazing. And I competed in CrossFit for 12 years.
Wow. I didn't know you competed that long.
I competed for 12 years. I made it to regionals a lot.
That's huge.
Yeah. Back in the day. I think I stopped competing in 2017 when I competed as a team.
Wow.
And I switched over. But part of what got me into this whole fitness and nutrition journey is because I did such a poor job of fueling myself.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to look lean and ripped. And I never understood how to do that.
To do it.
And now, and looking back, if I could go tell that little girl, do this, do this, do this. Right. I wish I could have done that. So that's what kind of made me want to start helping other women realize how to fuel their bodies, how to get their dream body the proper way without hurting themselves.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I went through 2 traumatic relationships, you know, and that didn't help my body at all with stress.
Right.
And so that's how I got into the functional health and wellness coaching, because there came a point where macro coaching was not enough anymore. It was, I needed to figure out the root cause of what was going on in my body to help fix it and to fix my clients, you know? And so that kind of catapulted me to where I'm at.
That's amazing.
Now.
That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I've always had so much respect for you. Aww, and I feel like if I had any questions when it came to educating myself even more so about training and nutrition, you're like the first person I go to.
Well, that makes me feel good.
Yeah. Yeah, I told you, you were my girl gym crush.
I love it.
You were.
You. Well, that means a lot.
You still are.
That means a lot.
If James is willing to share you, I'm not sure.
I think he'll share with females, not no males.
Okay. Yeah, can't blame him there. So let's say, you know, someone's struggling right now and she knows that she needs to lose the stress weight.
Yep.
But she doesn't want to bring someone into her life and open up yet because she's feeling ashamed about where she's let her body get to.
Yep.
Or she can't financially afford it.
Right.
What are some small baby step tips that you could give someone that's listening to this right now that's struggling in regards to weight loss?
So somebody that's struggling with weight loss, I would say, again, like I mentioned at the beginning, starting small with something, because a gym can be intimidating. So walking in and seeing, you know, especially around here, people that are super fit.
Yes.
They're scared. I actually had a woman come up to me at the gym the other day. She goes, how do you use this machine? I've never been here before. Because it's so intimidating.
It is.
So for somebody that is trying to lose a weight, you know, don't look at all these big things. Try to focus on one thing at a time. You know, so if their diet is crappy and their emotional eating, try to focus on that first. Diet is 80% of the battle, you know?
It is.
It's not necessarily about working out. Move more. You know, if you are, most people are sedentary. Even if you say you work out an hour a day and you sit the rest, you're considered a sedentary human.
Very true.
So you need to be getting, 10,000 steps a day. So even just getting outside and walking, not even getting on a cardio machine, it's very non-intimidating. Gardening. You know, like I said, do something that you enjoy. I love tennis. It's the only thing that shuts my brain off. I actually will not think about anything other than playing tennis when I'm playing tennis, you know? So finding something along those lines where it's active movement, a healthy outlet.
Right.
I think, again, you can walk yourself skinny.
No, it's true.
I tell a lot of clients that they can do that, and it's non-stressful on the body.
Right.
For these women that might be overly stressed out, that can't lose the weight.
Right.
You know, it's not always about more. You know, jumping into a HIIT class is the worst thing that you could possibly do if you're super stressed out.
Right.
And your body's already super resistant to losing weight.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
So I think that starting small, something super easy, like even if you're intimidated to go to the gym, get some weights at home, follow an easy workout video, but have a plan. Because if you're doing all these, I saw this fitness influencer do this move, so I'm going to do this. And I saw this person do this, and so I'm going to do this. That gets overwhelming and people end up quitting and stopping.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So it's about consistency. It's about sustainable. And that's what I think is going to move the needle on it. Because if you chip away at something long enough, it's going to move.
No,
it's like that toilet paper roll.
Yes.
Just going to keep pulling that layer off.
Yeah. What about food journaling?
I think food journaling is huge. I like it. You know, I like it for a couple of different things of just having an awareness of what you're eating.
Putting in your body.
Yes. Even if people don't want to say track macros, I think having an awareness of what you're actually putting in your body, whether you're over fueling, under fueling. I think with females that have kids, I call them BLTs, bite licks tastes. They are picking off their kids' plates and they don't realize the extra calories that are adding up in their day.
It's very true.
You know, so if you were to really write down everything that put in your mouth, including, you know, how many sticks of gum are you chewing in a day? What, you know, are you having mints? What's in your sugary coffee that you're having in the morning?
Yeah, guilty as charged.
Right? So, and trust me, I love my coffee.
It's hard though. I can't drink it black. I've tried it so many times. So now what I've done, I normally do matcha.
Okay.
I've tried matcha.
You know what? I've never been able to get into matcha, but I know a lot of people.
It is definitely an acquired taste.
It is.
It's very an acquired taste, very much so. So I try to do a healthy alternative to my sugary coffees, which is matcha.
Maybe one day I'll try it again, but I think in the meantime, yes, I struggle with black coffee too, though.
Do you?
I do. I used to be able to drink it, a black coffee with just 2 stevia in it.
See, when I was younger, I could do it too. I can't do it anymore.
I can't. And then I went to black coffee with stevia and almond milk.
Yeah.
And then it went into, I want a latte with 2 stevia. And sometimes if I'm feeling crazy, some sugar-free caramel.
Do you drink caffeine?
I do, but I actually I get a little carried away with it.
Okay.
We all have our vices.
Yes.
Caffeine is probably mine.
That's my vice too.
I mean, if I'm feeling stressed out, I'm like, let's go get a coffee.
Yeah. Yeah. Coffee or iced tea. That's
right.
Like my
that's
go-to.
going to really help my stress.
Yes, I know.
Not really, because on another point, you can overly stress your adrenals and your body by over caffeinating. And I think people are like, well, it'll kill my appetite and all these things, but that can work negatively against
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Now, let's say to someone who's in that workout mode and they're lifting and they're on a plan and they're tracking, but they get super sore from a really long workout, from a lifting workout. Yep. I know as I'm getting older, some workouts I wake up the next morning and I'm like, holy smokes, I feel like I just got off a horse. So what can they do? I know for me, sometimes I'll do like magnesium powder and some hot water before I go to bed after a really hard lift session. What are some things that you suggest?
So, I mean, supplements are great to help with that. So magnesium is really great for relaxing. Epsom salt baths are really awesome at just calming your body down, you know, especially the ones with eucalyptus and like the relaxing calming, or even lavender, because it just calms your body down. Making sure you're drinking enough water, electrolytes, you know, too. Making sure that you're fueling your body, because that's, I think so many people under fuel and they overtrain.
Right.
And also taking rest days.
Yeah.
As we get older, our body needs more rest. It's not work out till you die.
Right.
Kind of mentality anymore. It's not, you shouldn't train 7 days a week.
Right.
You're probably not going to see the results that you want to see that way. And your body's not recovering. And if you're only as good as your recovery. So I think making sure that you're taking rest days and also taking deloads.
What's that?
A deload would be, you know, say you're on a training cycle and you're in this really good groove. Every 4 to 6 weeks, take a deload where maybe you are not training that week and doing something completely different. You know, maybe you're doing yoga, or you're just walking that week and taking the week off, or stretching more, or changing it up, going lighter weights, maybe only training 2 to 3 times. So you're just deloading your body, getting ready to stress it again.
Stress it.
So it's like unstress adapt your body to then stress it again. You know, I think that's really important. I think making sure that you're getting enough sleep.
Right.
That's important. I think adding in low inflammatory foods, or foods that help with inflammation.
Yeah, I know low inflammatory diet is a really big thing, and I think there's a lot of valid points to it.
1,000%.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're feeling really sore, maybe cut out things like alcohol or gluten or dairy, or something that could just be causing, I'm not saying any of those things are bad. I'm just saying
it may be causing
the some of your inflammation. You know, you could add in higher omega foods, add in turmeric, add in ginger. You know, these are all things that are going to help with inflammation. If you're wanting to go to the peptide route, like I said before, BP.5 is huge. That would be great. Also adding in, you know, the copper one. Also adding NAD+.
Yeah.
That would be another good, it's not a peptide, but it's the big hot trend right now, is adding something like that in.
What about flaxseed oil or flaxseed, whole flaxseed? I do a whole scoop of 2 tablespoons of flaxseed every morning.
Anything that's high omegas, that's going to help combat inflammation in your body. So having that in is important. So eating real whole foods, eating high antioxidants, eating high nutrients, that's all going to help your recovery as well.
What's your opinion on dry sauna, cold plunge, cryotherapy?
Oh, I forgot about that. I didn't want to leave that out. I actually love cold therapy. I think cold therapy is really great. I wouldn't say doing it right after you work out, because that has been shown to like blunt, because you want to
too much of a shock.
Yes. Well, you want to have inflammation after you work out, because it's kind of what helps your muscles break down, grow.
Right.
So you don't want to do it right after. But if you're separating it, I think cold therapy can be great. It can help with your neurotransmitters. It can help with inflammation. It can help with energy, focus, all that. I do love infrared sauna. I think that's amazing too, because it can help you detox. It can help you just recover, help your immune system.
Right.
So all of those things I think are really great as well. I love castor oil packs.
Do those really work?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
They do. They're great for liver detox. They actually really help sleep.
Do they?
They do. I don't think a lot of people look at them for that, but they put you into a deeper sleep. Every time I do one, I always sleep deeper, and a lot of my clients do as well.
Oh, that's amazing. I want to start trying those.
Yes, and they help with gut inflammation. You wake up feeling a lot better. So if you do suffer from that, and keep in mind, that's another thing. If you're noticing that if you're not recovering, and you're constantly inflamed, what's your gut doing?
Right.
Because if you have inflammation in your gut, it's going to spread all over your body.
Throughout your whole body. Are you a big proponent of creatine?
I do like creatine. I think it's great for helping to promote, you know, like muscle and recovery and all those things. It's great for women in perimenopause. I think it can help a little bit with methylation as well. So I like adding in creatine. I think it's great. People can get freaked out because when you first add it in, you will hold a little bit more water.
Okay.
And that's normal.
Okay.
So, but I think creatine is great to add in for recovery too.
Well, and I know I talked to you too about liver cleanses.
Yes. So I think your liver doesn't get a lot of love. You know, keep in mind, it processes all our toxins
out of your blood.
It processes your hormones.
Yep.
Everything kind of runs through your liver, and it doesn't get a lot of love. And it is responsible for about, I don't know, 10 to 20% of your basal metabolic rate.
Wow.
If you really think about that.
I don't think a lot of people know that or realize that.
And so if you go in and do like a liver cleanse, appropriate one. I think detox gets thrown around pretty loosely.
Right.
You know, coming from the functional coaching space, I have a really good one that's great, you know, that uses a lot of medical grade products that opens up the liver. It gets inflammation down. It increases your energy. You know, it's like a scrubber brush going on the inside of your body and cleaning everything out.
Oh, that's amazing.
And like supercharging your system. So I do think that liver cleanses are great when done appropriately and, you know, under not just some gimmicky something, because there's a lot of gimmicky stuff out there.
Well, and I feel like with the health industry, the wellness industry, fitness industry, you have to be very picky choosy.
Yes.
And just because it works for one body or one person doesn't mean that it's going to work for you.
No. Well, and that's why again, as a coach, one, you have to meet somebody where they're at, but also it's not a cookie cutter approach. What works for somebody isn't going to work for somebody else.
It's very individual.
Same thing with diets. There's keto, carnivore, Mediterranean, carb cycling. It's not a one size fits all. It's not like, hey, you should be on keto and stay on it. You should stay on carnivore. Now, they're great in application.
Right.
Depending on what you're trying to achieve.
Right.
For short periods of time, rotating them into your diet.
No, that
Same thing with fasting.
Yeah.
That's another, because fasting is really big right now on autophagy and, all those things. But if done inappropriately or not executed well, it can cause more harm than good.
Yeah, than anything else.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on intermittent fasting?
I actually like intermittent fasting more for men.
Okay.
I think it can be a little bit better. I think women's bodies and hormones don't always love it.
Right.
Now, however, if women have really high insulin levels or, sometimes with PCOS, you can throw in bouts of intermittent fasting, but I don't like it all the time.
Okay.
It's not, hey, you live on this forever, but you might try bouts of it.
Okay.
And I think that's good in application.
Okay.
So I do have some clients that use it. And I think, again, it's like shocking your system.
Right.
Training your system. And also I think it's good to know where your glucose and insulin sit. So you have an awareness of, okay, what's happening here.
Right.
But if you're saying you're intermittent fasting and drinking coffee and then not eating until 12 or 2 p.m. and then eating one meal, hey, you just skyrocketed your cortisol into whatever, and you're probably not doing your body a good.
Totally.
So if you're using it appropriately as a tool, I think it can be good.
It can be helpful.
Yeah.
Now,
again, too much of one thing is not good.
Balance with everything, right?
Yeah.
I think I've spoken to you about this before, but like my biggest vice is sugar. Okay. My body craves it 24/7. A lot of it has to do with dehydration, and I know that. Like, I know my body better than anything else.
Right.
So increasing my water intake every day is definitely something that I work on.
Well, sugar cravings can come from a couple different things. It can be your insulin being out of whack. You can have sugar cravings. You can have gut bacteria. Candida can cause a lot of sugar cravings, or parasites. I'm not saying just because you have sugar cravings, that's what it is, but some of these factors can
play into it.
Not eating enough carbohydrates through the day and being deprived of that, then all of a sudden your body's craving glucose, craving energy. So yes, also being dehydrated can make you think that you want sugar. Your hormones being imbalanced, like right before your period. Most women crave sugar.
I crave the weirdest stuff right before my period. I mean, I crave
chocolate.
Oh my gosh, I crave the most weird stuff prior to my period than I did when I was pregnant.
No way.
Oh, my cravings when I was pregnant, like I didn't have any. Well, I had HG when I was pregnant, so I was literally like sick the whole 9 months. HG is like vertigo with vomiting, and some women have it in the beginning stage and they grow out of it. But like I had it the whole 9 months.
My sister was like that too.
Oh, it was rough. Horrible. It was rough. But yeah, the sugar cravings that I have now, they're starting to decrease because I'm changing a lot of stuff in my lifestyle. I also noticed too that when I'm high stress, the first thing I go for is sugar. So like I've been living off ashwagandha.
Yep.
And then I was also diagnosed with high liver enzymes.
Oh.
Abnormally high liver enzymes.
What do they think is causing that?
Cholesterol.
Okay.
So my cholesterol, I mean, obviously not the total number, but when you look at the LDL and the HDL, the ratio is a little too high for my doctor's liking.
Got it.
But I also come from two parents who both genetically have super high cholesterol and have had high cholesterol since they were in their 40s.
Right.
So mine, they did a blood test for it. Cardiologist did a blood test for it. And he was like, yours is just genetic. You're predisposed.
And I've seen that a lot with clients where
I'm tiny. Like, I'm lean, I'm tiny, I'm in shape. My lifestyle is very clean. I can't remember the last time I had an alcoholic beverage. Like, I'm just...
Well, and, this is where maybe, again, working on your liver, working on your overall gut, working on your hormones, can help all that. Sometimes people have genetic SNPs that can, again, contribute to that.
Yes.
And they're predisposed to certain things along those lines. So if you're eating a healthy diet, if you're eating like high omegas, if you're, adding in supplements and stuff to help with that, that's the best thing that you can do.
I feel like I'm on so much milk thistle, Yeah. I'm trying like, these liver cleanse shots every morning, that you can buy and have.
Oh my gosh. I
delivered to your house. Like I'm all about it. I mean, you know me, it's my whole lifestyle. So I'm all about it. Educating myself on stuff.
I have some good liver cleanse stuff that opens up phase 1, phase 2 detox. It's great. I like adding it into my clients' plans. It's medical grade. So I love using that. I think it's super helpful to, that's what I use when I open up people's livers at that very beginning part, get inflammation down. People that have fatty liver. Right. We use
They checked me for that. And I had to go in for like a full abdominal ultrasound. They checked all my organs and everything. With like even the X-ray tech, like his or the person that oversees your X-rays, the radiologist. Excuse me, I had a total brain fart right there. After he looked at my it's just my age shining through. After he looked at my X-rays, his literal verbiage to my doctor when she sent me the results was stellar. Like, her organs are stellar.
I mean, I would want my
She doesn't have stellar. Yeah, I mean, I saw that and I actually like snapshotted it and sent it to my closest girlfriend. I'm like, the radiologist said my organs are stellar.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing. But my doctor at one time thought I maybe had fatty liver disease.
Yep.
But it came back negative, thank God.
Well, that's perfect. But again, just some things can also, your labs and your blood work can change on a whim,
right? Right.
Based on something that happened the day before, or did you work out a lot before your, blood work. I had a brain fart right there.
No, girl, the brain farts are wearing off.
I had one right there.
They're contagious in here right now.
Contagious. Oh my gosh.
Well, and it's really funny too, because I've been healthy and athletic my whole life too. I mean, I jumped horses competitively growing up.
Oh gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I started when I was 6.
Okay.
And, I loved it and it was my life and I was competitive and I started going to the gym at a really young age with my dad, and he kind of got me into lifting and that whole lifestyle because my dad was a wrestler throughout high school and college. And
cool.
Both my parents are like huge into fitness. So, I mean, I
didn't really have
a choice. Oh yeah.
That's great. How old are they?
My dad just turned 71 and my mom is going to be 75. And they're both lifting at the gym.
Love that.
Every day, living their best life.
Goals.
No, it really is.
Yeah.
It's been great role models for me.
Of course.
I want to be that for my daughter.
Yes.
But I think, like you said, having an athletic background, it opens that gateway to getting into fitness and nutrition. Mm-hmm. But then you also have to keep yourself in check because you can really run with it. And then it becomes detrimental and it becomes an addiction.
It does. And trust me, I've run into that addictive personality when it comes to food with an eating disorder and exercise.
Right.
I went from an eating disorder and it just, your addiction morphs to different things.
Yes.
Because you're trying to cope with certain things.
Correct.
Sat through enough therapy and, done enough as a coach to realize that your emotions
play into
all of it. Mm-hmm. And again, this comes back to your nervous system too. When it's dysregulated, guess what? Your body is in this fight or flight state, and it's just like, what the hell?
No, it's so true. Do you automatically, right out of the gate, when you first meet a new client, do you suggest them going in for blood work and then coming back to you with results so that you can start fundamentally at the very root?
Yes. I either like them to come in with some current labs so I can see exactly where they're at. Right. I have them fill out an extensive questionnaire that connects to every part of their body. Okay. Right? So their gut, their thyroid, their adrenals, bones, joints, everything. I mean, it's so in depth.
Right.
But blood work is nice because it gives me an idea of what I'm working with.
Right.
If they don't do it right away, I have them do it after the first month when I put them through their, liver. I got to be careful. Detox, cleanse.
Right.
Like I said, it's more medical grade supplements that I use to do that. I upregulate their liver, their adrenals, their thyroid, and help their gut. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of getting their body to a blank slate or a blank canvas before I start cranking on it. And it gives me an idea of how their body is going to respond.
Right.
And then usually after I do that, then I run
labs.
Smart. So if they don't come in with them, I do it. So then I can see, okay, this is where they're at after I just did all that cleaning out. And then, that's where they're at.
And then you start them at that point.
And then I start them at that point.
I like that.
And it's just much easier because it's kind of playing a game of tennis.
Yes.
trying to anticipate where they're going to hit the ball back.
Right.
But I don't always know.
Right.
The clients that come in that I think are going to be easy end up being some of my hardest clients.
Oh, I believe that. Yes.
So whether it's personal training or the functional health coaching stuff, I mean, you just never know.
Okay, so I know you and I are big believers and proponents of lymphatic drainage.
Yes.
I'm huge on it, and I'm especially huge on it post-pregnancy.
Yep.
For my stomach.
Yep.
I think a lot of women would be shocked to hear that the main place you carry a lot of your stress can be in your stomach. Mm-hmm. And I know for me, it's not in my shoulders and my neck and my upper body where I carry my stress. It's my gut and my stomach. So I started going in for lymphatic drainage massages on my stomach, and man, it has helped with being regular.
Yep.
It has helped with tightening up of like the skin from post-pregnancy. I'm not as like poofy or have that belly pooch,
right?
You know, that a lot of women struggle with.
It's great for inflammation, your immune system.
I've loved it. I mean,
it's awesome. I think that sometimes, you know, because you see these before and afters, it's insane how much fluid they can move out of your gut. Mm-hmm. Crazy. Yes. My last pictures were, I think I sent so many people in for lymphatic drainage just by seeing that photo.
Yes.
They looked at my Instagram and I went running, but it's also not the quick fix of hey, I'm going to get skinny.
Right.
But it's so amazing to throw into your routine.
Yes.
You know, of moving your lymphatic system. Mm-hmm. Because you have to move or you have to move it out.
Yes. I mean, I even notice with my face sometimes that I get a lot of blood that just sits under here, like, you know, under your eye area from whether it's lack of sleep. I mean, us moms, like we're go, 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 right? And then we are running on very low amounts of sleep.
Absolutely.
Especially if we have kids that are in the toddler age or in the infant stage. I mean, that's just like, you're in survival mode.
You're in survival mode and you're not sleeping.
No.
And you're probably not taking care of yourself as well because you were taking care of somebody else.
Other people. But yeah, lymphatic drainage massage for my whole body, my face and my stomach has been so life-changing for me on like a self-care level. You know, self-care is huge.
Oh,
huge. And I know everyone says, well, it costs a lot of money. Yes, it does. But it also plays into mental health. So can you really put a price on that?
No, you can't. And I actually post about this a lot on my social media. Like I do self-care Saturdays. I think one Saturday I did a Brazilian lymphatic. Yep. And then I did a colonic first. And then I did a Brazilian lymphatic right after within an hour of each other, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Getting my nails done, getting my hair done, actually getting my makeup done sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it's so important for females especially to feel beautiful,
100%.
To feel awesome about themselves. Because guess what? When you feel awesome about yourself, you're going to show up so much better to the world.
Everybody around you, too.
Everybody around you. In your relationship, you're going to be better. Pardon me for that. In the bedroom, you're going to be better everywhere.
Yeah.
Just because you feel better about yourself.
Yes.
You know, and that carries over to self-care. Isn't always just about like nutrition and fitness. It's some of those extra things too that make you feel happy and beautiful as a woman.
Yeah. Or even in like the simple moments, let's say you have as a mom, maybe only 10 or 15 minutes for yourself. Cause I feel like for a lot of women nowadays, that's kind of all you get.
Right.
Is sitting down and just in quiet and stillness and meditating.
Yep.
Just simple things like that, meditating or sitting down and reading a couple chapters of your favorite book and maybe drinking some really great healthy tea.
I think having something that is a stress relief is huge.
Yeah.
You know I love meditation. For me, however, it doesn't always work because I feel like it's a Busta Rhymes song. In my head, it's like, blah, 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 blah. You know, as I
you can't get your mind to just calm down.
Can't get my mind to calm down.
Yeah.
And it also can become stressful for people that don't know how to meditate properly.
Right.
But having some sort of even sitting in silence, doing breath work where you're like, inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4, you know, the 4 by breathing.
Yes.
Anything like that. I just taking a walk in the sunshine and just allowing like the blue space and in the sunshine to hit your face can be calming. But having something that is a stress relief is going to be so huge. And I think it's massively important for your mindset, for your results, for sleep, for your hormones. You have to manage that.
You do.
Yeah,
you do.
You have to have some sort of plan. And when I get off the call with my clients, I ask them, so what are you doing for stress relief this week?
I love that.
What is your stress management? And they're like, oh, well, I went for a walk. And sometimes it's not very thought out.
Right.
But you kind of have to add that in, even if it's 5 minutes, like you said, reading a chapter in your book, or just quiet time. Shut the door away from your partner, away from your child. Just sit with yourself and your thoughts. Journal.
Yes, journaling is huge.
Journaling is huge because it's that kind of release.
It is
almost.
And like my
brain dump.
Yeah, totally, exactly. And like one of my guests said, Katie Morris, the life coach that I had come on, holistic life coach, even she said when I was interviewing her, like, if you don't have time to sit down and take a pen to a piece of paper, do audio in your phone. And
that's a great idea.
Just talk into your phone when you're by yourself so you don't feel like a weirdo.
Right.
Talk into your phone and just dump into your audio. And it's amazing when you're done how much you feel like that release.
Well, it's like talking to a therapist without having a therapist there. You're just releasing
it. You're getting it out.
You have to, because your body keeps the score.
Yes.
It really does. If you hold in things that are going on, it will start manifesting in bad symptoms. I've seen it happen to myself. I've seen it happen to my clients. You have to have stress management. And this goes back to your nervous system.
Yes.
If you're sitting in a constant state of fight or flight, guess what's not happening? You're not reproducing.
Right.
So your periods are going to get weird. You're not going to have a sex drive. You're not going to lose weight because your body's not going to be thinking about, well, we got to conserve energy. So we're going to hold on to everything.
Right.
So your body, if it keeps the score.
My dream is to have the author of that book, The Body Keeps the Score.
Yes,
I want that author on this podcast.
It's such a good book.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
It's my main go-to. I love it. I love it so much.
I have my clients read that book. I love it.
Yeah, it's amazing because it really does. Like whatever you internalize starts showing itself on the outside.
It does.
Right?
It really, really does. And when people start to figure that out, then they can start to manage their symptoms. They can start to lose weight. They can start to do all the things.
No, it's very true. They have to start putting themselves first and not feel guilty about it.
Exactly.
It's not selfishness if you're taking care of yourself.
It really isn't, because if you can't take care of yourself and you can't show up as the best version of yourself, how can you take care of others?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's not selfish.
And if people around you truly love you and care about you, they will support you in that.
1,000%.
Not put you down for it, not make you feel like you're being insecure or over-analyzing or, trying to fit this perfect outcome of in your mind what you want to look like. No, you need people around you that are your tribe, that are going to support you no matter what.
You do. It's that the people, you are the 5 people around you. Haven't you heard that?
Yes.
So you need to surround yourself with people that are healthy, that build you up, that constantly are, adding to your cup, not taking away.
Yes. No, it's very true.
It's very true.
And you always did that for me during my most darkest moments. I mean, I even remember you saying to me one day, like, man, you're in a different space.
Yes.
And I did. I had to really dig deep to get myself into a clear-headed, forgiving, positive, forward-thinking mindset.
And it takes time.
It does.
Healing is not linear, just like weight loss is not linear. You're going to have the ups and the downs. And once you remind yourself of that and just keep putting one foot forward, one positive step in the right direction, you're going to eventually get to where you need to go. It might take time, but it's not going to be just a straight path.
No, it's not. Mm-mm. So you got to really make sure you surround yourself with people that genuinely care about you and have your best interest at heart. And I think now in this day and time, it's hard to find that. But when you do, you really got to cherish it and feel grateful.
You got to hang on.
Yeah.
Well, cherish it and hang on to those people.
I just feel fortunate that I knew you back in the day and then I happened to meet you through a mutual friend. So I feel like, people kind of go full circle in your lives.
They do. And, I truly believe that people are put in your lives for a reason.
Yes, they are.
So yes, I'm super happy that I met you.
And now I get to come to your wedding and support you.
I'm so excited.
I love you so much.
I love you so much.
So thanks for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right.